In the previous video, we talked about how we can set up HDRI lining and using IBL, which is image-based lining, and how we can basically create a really quick render with fantastic results. And we started from a really simple scene and simple background just to have like a little bit of kind of a small model representation of our objects with the standard material. And also we saw that we can change the background but still maintaining the lining coming from the image-based lining system. So we can maintain the refractions. And also we saw how we can apply the tool material to have like sketch effect or something like a drawing. And moving forward, we saw how we can also apply more realistic effects like the caustics on transmissive and transparency and transmission channels of the objects. And we continue essentially and applied the materials, the emissive lights on these two cars, and we created essentially a really nice rendering without too many settings. So using the basics and also the fastest way you can do it, rendering in OCTANE for Blender. And so this is everything is based on a single image. That's the faster thing, because the image will create the illumination, will create the reflections, and also the background. So you can then work separately with the background, with the reflections, with the um, lining if you want. Now in this video we will continue and we will do something more complex using not an interior but an exterior, and using not only HDRI and environment but also some lights, some volumetric lights. We will create some environment art. We will be a little bit more creative. Now in this scene right here, you can see that I've applied some Minority Report style graphics, so something a little bit sci-fi, science fiction. So I have these emissive translucent panels, and I have basically created an emissive material with an opacity channel. And I used again these really nice cars, automobiles from this author right here. This is the author, this is the name. So if you want to get the same model, you can do it. And also I've used again some HDRIs for image-based lighting from Polyhaven. So in the previous video, I used more like outdoors. In this video, I want to do a little bit of indoor with the two cars. But the beauty of the image-based lighting is that you can change the scenario in just a click, in just one single application of a single texture. You can change from outdoor, indoor. You can change from a day scene into a night scene, into a sunset, and so on. Now, if you want to get some graphics, infographics, text, vector graphics, photographs, and much more, you can search for on the web. Of course, there are a lot of free stuff out there, like these graphics right here, searching for futuristic or future or sci-fi. And this is downloadable free from Pixabay or other. You can find it also in other free website. So I've set some of the textures here, couple of these science fiction, and all I did here is just create the texture node and apply it into the texture emission and then into the emission node. So this is what you need to do to create an emissive material using a textures, which looks really nice. And also I created the opacity channel using the same exact textures, because this was a kind of a black and white situation. Well, I exaggerated the contrast and the black and white and the image, the overall image, using a color correction node, just as we learned to do it in the previous video again. So it's nothing new, it's just a different application of things we have learned in the previous lessons. So if I want to change the scenario here and going from the indoor to an outdoor, it's just a single click. It's just going there into the folder and selecting another HDRI. So this is the beauty of the HDRI rendering style, or IBL rendering, or I also call it the object rendering. So when I need to render just a single object, which could be a car, which could be a product, an industrial design object, a character, wherever, I can just use this technique because it's the fastest, the simplest, and we saw how we can use important sampling to make things even faster, and we are using direct light, which is the fastest of the render engines that are available using Octane. Now, direct light is fine when you do a scene with few lights. In this case, we don't have any light. We just have emissive materials and just one single light. If we switch to path trace, you will see definitely more accuracy on every material, like emissive materials and transparent materials and specular materials. Now, this is also due to the depth. So depth is really important when you want to increase the quality, and this is kind of the maximum level right here. Also 16 is fine. And also samples. Samples are important to get rid of the noise. We can say that our main goal is to get off the noise, which are the little dots that appear here and there, and also getting rid of the fireflies, but we're gonna get to that later. I just wanna point out something about global illumination, which is the core of the Octane rendering, which is path tracing or ray tracing. This is kind of the latest technology in the field of the rendering, and it's real time. So it's global illumination is based on direct and indirect. So when you are in an exterior scene without too many light, you can just use the direct light, which is direct light, and it's going to like illuminate once the surface is, or perhaps it's going to do just few bounces, like in this situation that we are right now. So we don't really need path trace, because path trace is also going to be longer to render. So if you want a fast render, you can use the settings we saw in the previous video, but you don't have to do too many effects, or you don't have to use lights, you don't have to complex shadows and lighting. So in that case, direct lighting is fine. Now, when we use path trace, we also use indirect. So it's like when the rays will hit a surface and then they're gonna bounce all over the place many times. So depending on the depth, they're gonna have more complexity in the bounces, and so they're gonna create more accurate rendering, more realistic. So you increase accuracy, you increase photorealism, you increase the samples and the depth, but also you increase the render time. So again, we are going to see in this video how we can increase quality, increase the complexity of the scene. We're going to do an exterior scene, and we're going to work with indirect and direct illumination with the samples, with the depth, but also we're going to see some additional artificial intelligence settings like the denoiser, the GI clamp, and the hot pixel removal and stuff like that. Remember that our goal is to get rid of the noise, which is these little dots that determine the quality of your rendering. So you need to get rid of the noise on the lights, on the volumetric effects, on the shadows, everywhere. And to do that, we have like a set of tools. With the best one probably right now is the denoiser, which is an extra post-production effect. It's guided by artificial intelligence, and it's just gonna like get rid of all those little dots. But be careful, because yes, you can decrease the quality of the render and use the noise, but the noise is also gonna create artifacts and it's gonna remove little details of the scene. Now also we can use it to remove fireflies. So this is the other objective. Fireflies are like isolated white dots that could appear in a scene, again, usually because of some particular light of a volumetric fog or a volumetric effect that we're going to create in this video. Now let's get some exterior assets here, like houses or buildings. You can get whatever you like. I am going to use the castle there, and again you can see the author, the name, and everything. You can download it. You can do the same exact things that I do in this video as an example. So